Okay, hello everyone. My name is Laquan Williams, and in this video, I wanted to talk about the episode that happened on DC Legends of Tomorrow last night, and I wanted to talk about and do a review on it. The episode was season 6, episode 12, and it's basically it turned out to be like, it looked like it was obviously going to be a regular, obviously episode where like it was like I guess where they weren't really doing, the team wasn't doing much, but then it turned into obviously something else. So basically, the whole entire team obviously was not able to travel through space, obviously, and time travel, because the jump drive that they have on the ship obviously needed to be fixed. It was a little bit damaged, so they needed to conserve energy. So they regularly can just jump in, like, out of time in the space, like how the Millennium Falcon has a jump drive as well in Star Wars, which allowed Han Solo obviously to jump through the space and obviously move very fast. But this jump drive that they have allows them to travel through time and obviously space itself. So they had a 3-week obviously waiting period that they had to wait on the ship. So to pass time, obviously they were trying to figure out what they can do. So what ended up happening is the whole entire team, obviously, even though they were trying to do their own thing separately and they were bored and they were just trying to relax and even play video games, obviously, Gary brought up the idea, as you can see him right here, to play a game called Beast Slayers. And it's similar to like how they have these old-fashioned type of mystery date. I would say mystery. What's it called? Not psychic. Mystery games. It's like a mystery adventure type of game, where obviously everybody's supposed to murder mystery. There you go. Where people are with a whole, everybody is each individual character is obviously a different person, and obviously the whole entire team is staying in one place, like a haunted mansion or house, and every chance that they flip a card over, turn it, something happens, some type of event, obviously people die, and they're trying to obviously figure out who's the killer. That's basically what they had to do, just like when you play a lot of these murder mystery games. But this obviously did not happen, because they actually got teleported into the game by John Constantine. He used his magic, his powers to use a spell to cast them actually inside the game. So the haunted mansion that they were in was actually his house, where he stays at, where obviously where he lives. The rest of the team obviously does stay there occasionally from time to time, for the most part, and hang out with him in the UK, obviously, because he's obviously British. So they did. It was he manifested it. So they were in his house, so he was familiar with the game. But unfortunately, that obviously took a turn for the worse. As well as in the end, we found out that the person who was killing everybody, who was the quote-unquote beast, because you have to slay the beast, whoever is obviously the killer or the monster in the game, the person turned out to be John Constantine. He was getting attacked and beat up by himself, which was like a more evil and darker version of himself, because he's been taking a lot of obviously dark magic he's been using to increase his power, and it's been obviously taking a toll on him. And we know obviously, because what's going to happen obviously when the season's over is that John Constantine will be gone. On Legends of Tomorrow, he won't be coming back. Matt Ryan, who plays him, the actor who's been playing him for years on this show and on other shows within the Arrowverse, which is Green Arrow, The Flash, and whatnot, he's made appearances on other shows, obviously, and before then he had his own solo show on NBC years ago, but it was canceled after one season. And I have the DVD. They finally released it on Blu-ray like about a year and a half, almost 2 years after they canceled it finally. Kind of felt like they were holding out on it to stick it to the fans, but they finally released it, which obviously they should have done in the first place, since they didn't want nothing to do with the show anyways, since they canceled it. So he'll be playing a professor on the show next season, he's playing a British professor that obviously helps the team out, because he knows all about time travel. And in season 7, they're going to lose the ability to time travel, because the Legends of Tomorrow are going to lose the Wave Rider, which is their spaceship that they live on, that allows them to travel through time as well, and obviously through space. They're going to lose it. I don't know how it's going to be destroyed somehow, but they're going to be able to. They're obviously going to be stuck and need obviously a way to navigate around the universe, when obviously time itself in space. And he's going to be helping them as this 18th century British professor that's going to be helping them. Obviously, Matt Ryan won't be playing him, because J.J. Abrams is going to be taking over the character from the CW TV network, and he's going to be putting it on HBO Max. J.J. Abrams is going to be in charge of a John Constantine solo show that will be out next year. It's supposed to be much more darker, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know how that's going to go. Obviously, somebody else playing him again, obviously, besides Matt Ryan or Keanu Reeves are the only two people we've known playing John Constantine, obviously, on film and on camera, and also animated movies as well, when Matt Ryan has played him on the City of Demons, and obviously John Constantine's City of Demons. I have that on DVD that came out about a year and a half ago, and also in the CWC Dark Justice, the Justice League, the Dark version, where him and Vixen and a couple other superheroes who obviously were kind of like anti-heroes team up together. He does the voiceover of that in the animated version as well, so he's been playing him in not just animated versions, but obviously on screen and in real life, obviously, and as himself on camera. So the whole entire team is playing the game, obviously, as you can see them here, and they get stuck in the game. Side quest, obviously, issue that happened was Mick Rory, who is not here, obviously, as you can see. He plays Heatwave. He was obviously surprised when Kayla, the alien shapeshifter, obviously woman, just like how Gary is a shapeshifter / alien himself, who's human, who he can change back to either form, came back obviously out of nowhere, and he thought she was dead because he left her alone on that planet that was exploding. But he obviously went there to save Sarah Lance, which was the planet that Bishop, the bad guy, who's like a Disney Channel like villain, literally inside of Legends of Tomorrow. He sings and he dances all the time. He's not someone I take seriously, or you should either. Compared to Vandal Savage, who was very obviously very evil and very brutal, and he was a cold-blooded person. You can see how far the show has fallen over the last 5-6 seasons, where that we had Vandal Savage as a villain. Even Damien Dark, they were very evil and brutal and obviously scary on the show, obviously, as their characters, how they were, obviously, with their demeanor. These guys, with their dark magic and their powers and killing people, and they didn't care who they killed, they had to get out their way in order to achieve their goals. Bishop is not like that, because the show's moved to more of a comedic route with the show as being the oddball on the network. They are like the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bunch of superheroes, obviously, cracking jokes, stopping bad guys, fighting aliens, demons, monsters, and traveling through time and obviously space itself, and that's what's been happening. He's back. Kayla decided to screw over the Legends and double-cross them because she didn't get her ship from Mick Rory, so she knocked him out, attacked Gary, and somehow she was able to bring him back to life. I don't know how, because when a couple episodes ago, Sarah Lance destroyed his whole entire ship, and the planet blew up, and he died, obviously, which was what they showed us, obviously, when he was trying to upload his consciousness online, like obviously as a transhumanist, obviously, and trying to do that. Obviously, they just like how in Age of Ultron did the same thing. He tried to upload his consciousness online, and he could be anywhere at any time, and he could be in any he can infuse his consciousness into any electronics, any robots, any machines, anything, obviously, and the Avengers obviously had to stop him. That's what's happened in this episode. Similar, obviously. Well, it was about 4 or 5 episodes ago, but we obviously knew he was going to be back because a couple of weeks ago on the Comic-Con panel for the whole entire cast with the director and the writer, they revealed obviously the trailer for the season 6, which was going to happen, which was the rest of it. So they gave away what was going to happen this rest of the season, as well as what was going to happen at the end of the season 7, which is going to be the plot. They already gave away the plot for the next season, and they let us know what was going to happen at the end of the season as well, which was Sarah Lance and Ava are going to get married, and Bishop's going to crash the wedding, and somehow they're going to I think he's going to blow up the Wave Rider, and it's going to be destroyed, which would not allow them to travel through time. We obviously know he's going to be back in this episode because the trailer for next week's episode shows the whole team having him captured behind the force field that they keep people on in their ship to make sure that they can stay imprisoned in there until they let them out, or they try to get out themselves, so they're powerful. He's trying to play mind games on the team and trick them to turn on each other and whatnot. Obviously, it won't work, so we'll see what happens with that. So I don't know how Kayla was able to get him his mind or consciousness out of that whole entire his spaceship and obviously the planet, because it blew up and she was supposed to be dead as well. How she survived, obviously, we don't know, but she fought her way through a bunch of aliens herself. She obviously is one. She could change, obviously, the human form to get off the planet. So while the rest of the team was in the game, Mick Rory and Gary were the only ones that were not on the game. They were there on the ship by themselves, obviously, and got obviously a surprise attack by Kayla after they let her on, and they were surprised to see her alive. Even though Gary told Mick Rory not to trust her, and obviously that ended up being true. She double-crossed them both and brought Bishop on the ship, who's like the bad guy this season, so their sworn mortal enemy for this season is currently on the ship. And obviously in next week's episode, which is season 6 episode 13, the whole entire team is going to obviously have him captured. They get him, take him down and capture him. We'll keep him there captured and obviously keep him behind their force field until obviously they figure out a way to get rid of him, obviously. The whole murder mystery game basically went through. Everybody died except Zari and Constantine, and obviously Bayrod, who is obviously Zari's brother right there, and she's right here. Because John Constantine was obviously the Beast and the bad guy in the story of the Beast Slayers game. So after Zari stabbed the bad guy, the evil version of John Constantine, the game was over. They all teleported back to the table, and that was the end of it. They didn't know who it was, but Zari looked at John Constantine laying down while he was sleeping at his house, and she saw that she saw the mark on his back where she stabbed the Beast. She saw it, and that was the same spot she stabbed obviously the evil version of him. Well, she didn't know, but she obviously found out that he obviously was the Beast / the evil killer who kept them there and wouldn't let them leave. It was John Constantine's evil self, obviously his consciousness that was manifesting to it, obviously a whole entire person, the dark version of him who's been like showing why obviously him taking all this magic and drinking all these obviously extra this magic power to give himself more energy, obviously has been obviously hurting him and killing him. And we know that obviously at the end of this season it's going to end up killing him and he'll be gone. How they're going to have that transform into him being a different character, obviously Matt Ryan transforming from John Constantine dying to I guess his consciousness being teleported in, or somehow into the body of this 18th century British scientist is something that I want to see happen. Obviously, I don't know how that's going to happen, but that's what will happen because they gave it away weeks ago that at the end of this season, which is season 6, John Constantine will be no more on the show and he's going to be gone. And they were trying to say something about that right here on Den of Geek. It says that with the news that Matt Ryan's John Constantine is leaving Legends of Tomorrow after this season, is this a sign DC is moving the character back to his comics roots or comic roots? No, it's not going to happen. Obviously, he's going to be gone. He's going to be off the show, and HBO Max is going to be in charge of John Constantine from now on until something changes, obviously, and that's what's going to happen because obviously there's going to be a solo show which will obviously be won't have nothing to do with obviously him, Matt Ryan, because somebody else is playing John Constantine on the show. It says, right here it says, with the news earlier this year that the HBO Max is developing a John Constantine show, obviously produced by Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams' company. J.J. Abrams will be behind it, the director. It's entirely possible that his departure from Legends of Tomorrow and his back to basics orientation, high-brow comics are harbingers of a much more true to his more unpleasant origins, John coming to TV screen soon. It won't have nothing to do with obviously that. Justice League Dark obviously is what it was. His team that he does is obviously he's associated with, but it's not gonna have nothing to do with him. Obviously, he's not gonna be on the show. And that's basically that's gonna be the end of it. He won't be on that show, and it's gonna be a different character, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, but that's basically it. How the show has been obviously over the past couple of years is this. It's turned into basically the oddball on the whole entire CW TV network / Arrowverse. They're like they are the comedic relief when it comes to Green Arrow and DC, and obviously the Flash. Those shows were much more serious. They still stayed like that. Even if they did have comedic, obviously, the moments of jokes and laughter they did, but they were the more serious shows, obviously. Even if you could go back to the first 2 seasons of the Green Arrow, you can see how it was, obviously, with the tone and stuff. This obviously never changed. They never stayed away from that, even if they did have moments of where they had jokes inserted, but it always states very obviously, the tone was obviously never to be, this is a jokey matter, because what Oliver Queen's obviously doing, trying to save the city and obviously take down these bad guys. It was never a joking matter at all. This obviously it seems obviously to be the issue plaguing the show of Legends of Tomorrow for the past 3 years now. The show has moved obviously from a much more serious tone to a much more joking manner. And obviously, now that the show is winding down and it's looking like season 7 will be the last one, that's basically what will be the end of it, obviously. I don't see them having another season after season 7 because the team will literally have done everything through traveling through space, time, in the future, the past, the present. Obviously now they've lost the ability to time travel multiple times. Now they're going to lose the Wave Rider itself, the whole entire thing entirely, and they won't be able to move around. So how's that going to, that's obviously going to affect them in a very negative way. And obviously they'll eventually get the ship back, but obviously what's going to happen after that. So we'll see what happens, but I really do believe that next season will be the last season for The Flash and obviously Legends of Tomorrow, which both start in November and will probably end up going through all the way until most likely February, I believe, of 2022. So that's what's going to probably be taking place. I don't see them going past, obviously, these next seasons. Both shows will probably be over. We'll probably figure that out halfway through either of these seasons, that this is going to be the last season of these shows. And I really see that taking place, especially with The Flash, with the Grant Gustin wanting to leave, but he didn't mind staying, but but he wants to kind of go, but the network's like, oh, just stick around. But then like saying if he goes, Bart Allen could take his place, and the Flash can still go on with Impulse taking his place. But obviously with cast members leaving on that show, this season with them leaving, with Dominique Purcell leaving Legends of Tomorrow, after this season's over, Mick Rory will be gone as Heatwave. Last season on The Flash, Carlos Valdez and Harrison Wells, played by Tom Cavanaugh, left the show, so they're not a cast anymore as regular cast members. Regular recurring cast members, they will be in the last season. They did come back in a couple episodes after they left this current season. Season 7, well, that just ended. Season 7 of The Flash had just ended. Obviously, we're going into season 8 now of The Flash. They will be back next season for the last one. They'll make appearances, obviously, in a couple episodes. The Legends of Tomorrow will be as well, because all these shows are going to be doing mini crossovers this upcoming fall. So that's what it was announced by CW, that The Flash and Batgirl and Stargirl and Legends of Tomorrow and obviously Superman and Lois, all the characters on each show are going to be collaborating and doing crossovers with each other on different shows in multiple episodes this season, for like 5 episodes. So that's what's going to be taking place for each show. They're going to have other characters, mingling with each other on different shows, mini superhero team-ups, because they're not trying to do one big, huge team-up going into 3 episodes like they did, obviously, previous seasons a couple years ago with, obviously, the Crisis on Infinite Earths and, obviously, the other crossovers that they had. So that's basically what they're doing now. They're going to make sure that they're going to keep people engaged with that. We'll see what happens and how they work out, obviously, with multiple episodes being these crossovers. Taking place with all these shows. Like I said, 5 episodes is what they said for each show. I guess 1 per episode of each show is going to have obviously crossovers with other characters, joining each other and teaming up. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, it's Legends of Tomorrow. I'm going to keep watching until it's over. It's not as fun as it used to be. It's not. They don't take themselves very seriously anymore. Like I said, compared to Vandal Savage, when you compare him to Bishop, there's a big, huge difference. He was, like I said, a lion versus this guy's obviously a pet tiger. He's not a threat. He's not dangerous, and obviously we don't take him seriously because he's always, like I said, he's a Disney villain. He's singing every 5 seconds, dancing. How can you take him seriously if he's a super villain? Obviously, this is not this is a bunch of adults, obviously, on a show in their late 30s or early 40s, taking on obviously all these bad guys. They're not teenagers or kids, so he doesn't fit obviously on the show. But that's how the show is now. Over the past couple of years, like I said, they've moved into a more comedic route, with this being the version of DC's version of obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is what they are. They are the Guardians of the Galaxy of the CW TV network, and obviously the Arrowverse. That's just how it is, obviously. Jokes either way are hit or miss. They're doing musicals, animated Disney, obviously, type of episodes, and sing-alongs and stuff. They did on The Flash, obviously, but I was like, whatever, I really didn't care. That's obviously what they've been doing on all these shows, and that's just basically how it is. But, as you can see them winding it down to the end, you can see obviously they really don't care about these shows anymore. That's why they're giving away the plot of the next season, season 7, 4 weeks before this current season, which is season 6, is even over. That doesn't seem to me like you're confident in the show if you're the director and the writer, if you're giving all this away and you're not even keeping any secrecy for the fans, obviously, and getting them excited for the next season. If you're giving all this away, obviously, so that just lets me know how you feel about the show. You're ready to end it, cut your losses, and move on. Obviously, as we can see, they're no longer doing spin-offs when it comes to all these shows. They're just keeping the original ones ending, and they're not continuing off with them. They were supposed to do that with Green Arrow and the Canaries, obviously with the Painkiller show with Black Lightning. They were supposed to do that with, obviously, like I said, Green Arrow and the Canaries, which was supposed to be Green Arrow's kids. Obviously taking his place, Mia Queen / Mia Smoke, his daughter, and obviously his son William. And that was supposed to happen. That got canceled, and that didn't take place, obviously. And then we could see that obviously that didn't take place and happen with what we saw with Painkiller, so with Black Lightning's crossover. So that's basically what's going on, and we'll see what happens obviously before this season's over and going into next season. Like I said, with these crossovers, so when the episode was cool, it was nice. I liked it. Compared to the previous episode last week, I'd say this one was a little bit more. I'd say this one's a little bit, a little more better. The whole entire thing with Bishop obviously is going to be a very good explanation as to how they're going to explain next week how he's still alive, because it looked like we obviously knew he was coming back because we saw the trailer for the rest of the season be released in Comic-Con, obviously online a couple weeks ago, but we still don't know. They're going to explain it this week how he obviously was alive, obviously still. So that's basically it. That's all I have to say about this. Obviously, in regards to Legends of Tomorrow and my review, them obviously jumping into this game, this board game, was okay. It was cool. But like I said, the show is just not as fun as it used to be. It's still okay, but like I said, they just stopped taking themselves very seriously a long time ago. So it's more of a dude bro type of or a show, or joking, obviously. I would say comedic manner, and that's basically what's happening with the show. So we'll see what happens with the rest of this season. Obviously, going into next season, which will be season 7, which I say most likely will be the last season of the show. So that's basically it, and that's all I have to say about this show. Currently in the news with this, and obviously the episode of season 6, episode 12 of Legends of Tomorrow, and obviously what's going on with the whole John Constantine situation, which is going to see obviously Matt Ryan leaving the show, and he won't be playing him anymore. And they're showing the more darker elements, obviously what's going to happen towards his end, his demise, which him taking all this extra magic power in, and him becoming more corrupt, and him hurting himself and everybody else, and him obviously becoming unhinged and obviously very unstable. So we'll see what happens with that in the rest of the season. Unfortunately, Matt Ryan will no longer be playing John Constantine after season 6 of Legends of Tomorrow is over, because HBO Max has taken him characters' rights, and like I said, J.J. Abrams will be making the character of John Constantine's solo show on HBO Max, so he will be in charge of, different actors playing him. We don't know who that's going to be. Yeah, we'll find out before this year is over, and that's basically all I have to say about this. Let me know what you have to think about my video, and obviously the rest of the show, and the news if you've been watching. If you haven't been watching it because you stopped obviously a long time ago, let me know why, and if you're going to be interested in seeing the upcoming season 7 and season 8 of The Flash, and obviously Legends of Tomorrow, when they team up with each other on different shows, along with Superman, Lois, and obviously be having a team up, obviously, with the other characters and another shows such as Stargirl and obviously Batwoman as well. So that's what's going to happen, obviously. So thank you again for watching my video. That's all I have to say about Legends of Tomorrow's current episode that just happened on Sunday the 15th of August 2021, obviously, and a couple weeks from now we'll see what happens with the season finale, and that's basically it. Thank you again for watching my video, and that's all I have to say about this. Again, thank you again, bye, thanks.